What's going on, guys? Foresight Capital here, and today we're going to talk about Palantir's recent price action and break down ARK Invest's recent buying operations within Palantir. There's been a lot of people mentioning online, both in YouTube comments, on Reddit, and even on Twitter, that Palantir should be trading below $20 per share just due to the sheer selling volume that we've seen in Palantir. But ARK Invest and Cathie have been continually buying the dip and keeping the price artificially inflated. Cathie has also gone on multiple interviews and multiple television shows talking about how Palantir is one of ARK Invest's higher conviction plays and that they think it's going to be an unstoppable force in the future, but it's definitely a long-term play. So we're going to break down some of their buying operations and take a look at Palantir's average daily volume versus the volume that ARK Invest is buying to see if they could potentially be keeping the price held artificially high in the short term. All that I ask is that if this video brings you value, give it a thumbs up, and if you're new here, consider subscribing because both of those really help this channel reach more people. And if you came for the Superman cape or the cocktails, you're not going to find that here, but join the Discord, which is linked in the description below. It's an inside joke from there. Ton of great conversations going on every day, discussions on Palantir and a lot of other stocks out there, so definitely check that out if you're interested. Palantir has been following its key pricing levels very closely over the past couple of days. We can see here that back on March 8th, we potentially set a low close of $22.50 per share. This could signal that we see the bottom of the current trend that we've seen basically with the sell-off from $45+ per share. And we saw some bounce back with conviction, breaking back above $24.60 and actually making a run towards $27.70, which has been a very key price target for Palantir in the past. We can see that it's had trouble breaking above that numerous times, and even when breaking above $27.70, it's been known to hold it for a day or two and then break back down below with heavy selling pressure. So we didn't quite come in contact with $27.70, but we set a higher high and potentially a higher low. So we've seen a sell-off over the past 2 days, even though the NASDAQ is traded green, but we can see here that Palantir came back and bounced off of $24.60 and ultimately closed a bit higher at $25.21. So we'll have to see how trading pans out over the next couple of trading days to see if it holds $24.60 or if it makes yet another pushback down towards $22.60 for another confirmation day before setting a higher move. Now, if we are able to hold $24.60, we'll have a higher low and we will have set a higher high, meaning that when momentum comes back into the stock, we can make a true push towards $27.70, which again, we'll need to hold for 4 or 5 trading days before we can consider it a full breakout and start talking about price points higher than the $30 per share range. But the really big price target for Palantir, at least here in the short term, is yet again another push towards $27.70. Now, the main thing that I want to talk about today is ARK Invest buying operations in Palantir over the past couple of weeks, because a lot of people have said that the sheer volume that ARK Invest is buying is artificially propping the price of Palantir. So we can see here that ARK now holds 10.8 million shares worth of Palantir, and if we take a look at their buying operations really since February 18th, they've bought over 5 million shares just in the past month alone. And if we take a look back at the snapshot here, we can see that in ARKW, we actually had some weekly selling for the week ending March 12th. Now, this is something that we're not used to seeing with ARK Invest funds, but we have seen some recent outflows, meaning that more people are actually pulling their money back out of some of the ARK funds than putting money in on a given day, and that's causing ARK Invest to actually have to sell off some of their shares. Now, Cathie has also gone on various media outlets mentioning that they are looking to pull back the number of shares that they have in their portfolio to their 30 to 35 highest conviction plays versus 50 to 55 shares within some of their portfolios. So we are going to see some selling operations probably in their higher conviction plays due to outflows, but we're also going to see some selling in some of their lower conviction plays as they're really looking to tighten up their overall portfolios. In the event that the market does pull back, they'll be able to hang on to them and be able to know them more intimately. And I think Palantir is going to be one of those holdings. So again, heading back to ARK here, we can see that over the past month, they've really added about 5.5 million shares of Palantir in the ARK portfolio. And if we take a look back over the past month, they've added just over 1 million shares of Palantir in the ARKW portfolio. So keep in mind that's about 5.6 million shares over 1 month, and then about 1 million shares in another portfolio. If we take a look here at the average daily volume that we're seeing from Palantir, we can say it's really been about 70 million shares per day. Over the past week and a half, we've got a day here with 94 million, 99 million, 103 million, but then we dip down into the 50 million per share or shares per day range over the past couple of trading days, and that's actually up from what we were seeing towards the end of December and the beginning of January, where we were seeing some days with 29, 30 million shares per day trading hands. And that's also considerably down from when we saw the actual lockup expiration happen, where there was a lot of volume going on in those days as a lot of shares were being offloaded and repurchased, where we were seeing over 300 million shares per day trade hands. So coming back to reality here, talking about 40, 50, 60 million shares on the low end days with 100 million shares on the high end days. Every single one of these days is adding millions of shares trading hands. And if we take a look back at what ARK Invest is buying, it's really been about 1 million total net shares over the past month for ARKW, and about 6 million, or really 5.6 million net shares over the past month for ARK. So a lot of people are saying that ARK Invest is propping up Palantir, but I really don't think that that's the case, because we're talking about 1/10 of 1 day's average daily volume and total volume for ARK Invest over the past month for Palantir. Of course, buying in million share quantities does help the stock price. It helps offset some of the selling pressure that we've been seeing. But I don't think that Cathie Wood is artificially increasing the price of Palantir simply from their buying. It's definitely helped, and Palantir potentially would be trading lower, but I've seen a lot of comments online that they'd be trading below $20 per share or below $15 per share if there wasn't as much buying going on by some of the large institutions, and that simply doesn't seem to be the case. Now we can take a look at the institutional buying as a whole in another video. I don't want this video to run too long, but it's just important to know that the volume that we're seeing in Palantir is higher than it previously was, and it's not all ARK Invest buying. There's institutional investors and there are retail traders buying this stock in mass. Now, we still haven't seen pushes back above $27.70 or above $30 per share, so there's definitely a lot of selling action going on, but we can see here that there's a lot of retail trading and a lot of other trading going on outside of ARK Invest. So I realized that this was very high level. There are a ton of things that go into what actually prices Palantir within the market, and it's not just retail trading and ARK Invest buying and selling, but I just wanted to highlight and take a look at the volumes that we're seeing and compare to what ARK Invest is really buying. Now, I love Cathie Wood. I love the ARK Invest funds, and I really think that they're going to come out of the bit of decline that they've seen over the past couple of weeks. And I'm glad to see that they're having ARK Invest, or that they're having Palantir be one of their higher conviction plays, because I think it's a lot of the viewers of this channel's highest conviction plays, and a lot of the retail traders out there highest conviction plays. So if we all get behind Palantir, I think that we can see some really nice returns in the future, but I don't think that the only thing propping up the stock currently is the ARK Invest buying. Definitely let me know your thoughts down in the comment. This video ran a little bit long. I've been trying to keep these around 5 or 6 minutes with a little bit less self-promotion and a little bit more streamlined, but I like to talk, especially when it's about Palantir and people love to watch it. So again, if you're new here, consider subscribing. We do videos on Palantir and deep dives on other stocks all the time. If you're returning, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and check out the Discord linked in the description below. Appreciate you watching until the end. Catch you in the next one.